Since the fall of man, a war has raged between good and evil. Over the centuries, this war has distorted the truth. Now the truth is perceived as lies, and lies acknowledged as truth. To this day, the battle continues as we investigate and debate the truth behind the history and mystery of the universe. We are Paratruth Radio.
Some stories are designed to inspire us. Some to scare the crap out of us. But on rare occasions, a story will come along that does both.
Now Paratruth presents The Revealed.
Hey, Parafans. Welcome to another episode of Paratruth Radio. My name's Justin.
And I'm Eric.
And tonight, not only is Eric my co-host, but he is also my guest because we're going to be speaking about The Revealed. So, how's it going this week, Eric?
It is going pretty good. Busy, of course. School just started this week, and already got a lot of stuff to do. And, of course, we are just about 4 or 5 weeks outside of starting production on The Revealed.
Yeah, and for all of you guys that have been listening from, probably since we started, but Eric's been working on this movie, The Revealed, for a long time. He decided to finally do it as a thesis project for his schoolwork, but he is also entering it into the film festival circuit. And so we're going to get a little bit into, what's going on right now, what his idea is for the movie, the synopsis, all that great stuff. But first, we have a great announcement. Paratruth Radio is a part of iHeartRadio now.
Woo!
So we are super excited about that. We've been working super hard to get where we are now, and just to get that confirmation that we are doing as well as we think we are is a huge deal for us.
Heck yeah. I mean, I was thinking about it earlier, and I posted it on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it yet because I haven't looked at Facebook.
Yeah, I actually commented on it.
Okay. So, it's been 8 years now that you and I have been running through this radio industry. And, of course, it's all online. But for those of you out there who don't know, it's pretty similar to the stuff you hear over the regular airwaves on your cars. Online isn't different at all, other than the fact that you listen to it online.
Just a different broadcasting net system.
Yeah, just different system. But for 8 years, we've been doing this. We started off in paranormal radio, and there's been so many ups and downs throughout the past 8 years. And after about 6 years, we decided to just call it quits.
Yep.
When we were on separate shows, it just so happened that we're both like, you know what, we give up.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know how God works? Because a year later, Justin comes to me in June. I think it was June of 2014.
Yeah, because we started, I believe,
in July or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so June 2014, and wanted to start the show again. And I was like, heck yeah. So we started up, and here we are.
Yeah.
Just over a year later. And after 8 long years, we have progressed to iHeartRadio, which is huge step for anyone especially in the radio entertainment world.
Yeah, and it's basically we've paid our dues. I mean, I don't think that we would have gotten this far if we hadn't started with Night Stalkers and gradually progressed into our own shows and then got back with each other again to do Paratruth Radio.
Oh yeah.
And as you guys have heard on our S-Files, the sound quality was horrible on Night Stalkers, just horrible. Not even words can describe how horrible the sound quality was, just because we were new at it. I believe Blog Talk Radio had been around for a little while, but they were still working out the kinks. They're still working out the kinks. Mm-hmm. And so we've just come a really long way.
And, I think it goes to show, because I know we've talked about this numerous times, not just with our show, but just with, my schooling and, of course, the feats that I've already had done in regards to filming. Mm-hmm. If you just stick to something and you're really passionate about it, it may take time, but you can always get to where you want to be. You work hard, and next thing you know, you're up in the big leagues, I mean, to say the least. I didn't think 8 years ago when I started doing film stuff that I'd ever be where I am today. Have already worked on feature film, starting my own short film that I'm producing and directing within a couple of weeks here, which is going to be a film festival thing. But then on top of that, I'm starting to write a feature film, which is just like, a lot of people don't even do that. And then, of course, you're working on your book, and that's
slowly but surely. It's
surely. It's I'm going to have to get back on you on that. Put you at a time limit.
Yeah.
Get it done. But it takes work, and you see it time and time again. If you're passionate about what you do and you work hard at it, you can accomplish almost anything. I'm not going to say you can accomplish anything, because it's just not always possible.
Sometimes you're going to fall short, and if you put your standards too high, you're just going to be disappointed all the time.
Yeah. But you know what? I mean, if you're passionate about it and you love doing what you do, it doesn't matter, because no matter where you're at, you're going to enjoy it.
Right.
And that's all that really matters in the end. So
absolutely. So let's get into the Revealed a little bit here. So you were on Kay Carswell's show, Deception Detection Radio, talking about the Revealed, and you did a really good job of describing everything. So why don't we start out with the synopsis? What is the Revealed?
Yeah. A young woman named Abigail Franklin must rethink everything she'd ever believed when a group of unidentified beings begin to visit her in the middle of the night. Now, The Revealed is a story that has been on my heart for several years and is about a young New York Times bestselling author. And as I mentioned, her name's Abby. And ever since she was a little girl, she wondered whether human beings were alone in the universe. And as any child, her imagination ran wild. Now, growing up, she would often have dreams of an unknown entity visiting her, even though there was no proof of such claims. This question and the events led her to start writing books on extraterrestrial life as she grew up. But it wasn't until she was in her mid-20s and deep into her career that she re-witnessed the horrific events of her childhood. Now, unsure of what precautions to take, she turns to her old friend Sammy Toll, who tells her that what he believes she's witnessing is something much more sinister than a couple of dreams. He actually believes that she has had an encounter with an evil race of spiritual beings from another dimension.
How did you come up with names? Were they just like you thought of it and you're like, yep, that's absolutely it? Did you have to ask people about different names? How did you come up with the names for your characters?
Well, the one answer you're going to laugh about. The other answer is a little interesting. Abigail Franklin, I don't know why, but I just always liked that name, like Abigail. It just sounds interesting to me.
Oh, okay.
And, of course, there are people that I've met in the past whose name has been Abby. And when you have people in your life, they may not necessarily be a huge part of your life, but in a way they influence it. And it may not necessarily be like, oh, they influenced you to go out and, be a superstar or something like that, or to go out and chase your dream.
Big impact on your life.
Right. But they influence you in the way that you remember them and you remember those names. And so a lot of characters that I come up with are either names of people that I know, and of course not fully. It's like the first name of someone that I know. and then the last name is someone else, or a fake last name. And in this case, Abigail just came from a name that I've heard in the past. And Franklin, believe it or not, came from Benjamin Franklin.
Somehow I knew that's where you were going.
So, yeah, Abigail Franklin. That's how I came up with that name. And Sammy Toll, that's a little different. The last name Toll was just something I came up with. I don't know where it came from. Mm-hmm. It just was like, Toll sounds good. Sammy, on the other hand, comes from, of course, our favorite television show, or at least my favorite, Supernatural. Yeah. So Sam Winchester, I was like, okay, I need this guy's name. I don't know what it is. Sam. Okay, Sammy. So, okay. So it was Sammy. And of course, throughout the story, you'll hear Abby say Sammy, but you also hear her say Sam. Because when I named him Sammy Toll, that was more of like his child's name, a name for when he was a child, childhood name. And of course, even though he has the backstory, I have a backstory for both characters, but I actually got rid of their childhood in the story itself because I would have had to bring in child actors. Right. And when you're working with actors under the age of 18, there's all kinds of loops you got to go through, and you got to get all these papers correct, and they can only work a certain amount of hours per day. So I ended up scrapping that idea. And so, yeah, in the film, you mostly just hear him as Sam. But
well, and if it was a feature-length film and you had massive amounts of backers to give you the budget that you needed, I'm sure it would have came to that point where you had the child actors. But I agree. There's a lot of red tape when it comes to kids. So.
Right. Yeah, and there is. And so when it comes down to just coming up with the names, it's just, like I just said, you just kind of come up with things from people you met. And there's actually one name that I have in my phone from back in 2012, believe it or not. I was out in Los Angeles, and me and Aaron are driving down the road in North Hollywood. And I don't remember where the heck it came from. I don't know if I saw it on a sign or something else. But I heard this name or this word called Consincos. And I was like, that sounds like a great last name. Consincos.
Yeah.
So I ended up spelling it out like in my own way to better remember it.
Yeah.
I think it's like CONSINKOS. Consincos. So yeah, that's a name that I have, that I'll probably be using sometime in the future for sure. But
well, that's why I asked, because a lot of times people will use names that are familiar to them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I honestly don't know where I came up with the names for my characters. Like, the main beast in my character is called Achilles, and Achilles is a Greek hero from Greek mythology who I have a lack for a better word, fondness for. He was one of my favorites. Hence why I said, for lack of a better word, because I knew where this was going to go if I said it. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting to see where people get their names from. And So one thing that I do have to comment on that was on Kay's show is I do not agree that Leonardo DiCaprio is the best actor out there right now, or one of. Yes, he is a good actor. I will not deny that, because you guys were talking about Shutter Island, which I only got about halfway through, but I wanted to finish it, and it was probably one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. But he does do a very good job in that movie. One of the other movies that, oh God, I don't even remember what it was called. I can't remember what it was called, but it was with Jack Nicholson, and they're like an Irish gang type of thing, and I can't remember the name of it for the life. The Departed. Yeah, he did an amazing job in that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite films.
Movie. Yeah, so definitely a good actor. I wouldn't say he's the greatest actor, but he is in the top.
Yeah, I remember. Actually, I don't remember, but several, if not many years ago, we were talking about it, and you had mentioned just how much you hate Leo DiCaprio. You're like, I don't understand why everyone's so likes this dude so much. He's not a good actor.
Probably on Night Stalkers that we were talking about.
And I was just like, what?
All right, folks. I think we're going to take our first break here. You're listening to Paratruth Radio, talking about The Revealed with Eric. We will be right back after Eric's random fact of the day.
Now, Eric's random fact of the day.
Did you know that the Guinness World Records stopped awarding the fattest cats or any other animals? According to FactSlides.com, Guinness World Records stopped awarding fat animals because they wanted to discourage people from overfeeding their pets.
This was Eric's random fact of the day.
All right, folks. Welcome back to Paratruth Radio. My name's Justin.
And I'm Eric.
And we are talking about Eric's new movie that's going to be coming out here, I believe it's 2016, correct?
Yep.
Called The Revealed. And we were just talking about actors and how my perception of Leonardo DiCaprio has changed slightly. So getting started with doing the casting call and all that good stuff and getting the actors in there, when do you guys actually start shooting?
We actually start shooting, well, technically it'll be September 23rd.
Okay.
And then we'll probably end up stop shooting around September 30th then.
Okay. So you've got Aaron already confirmed, and
right.
You've got a couple of spots to fill. So how confident are you for the interaction between the actors? Do you think everybody will do a great job? Do you think it's just going to be kind of hit and miss for some of them?
No, I'm pretty confident that God has brought the film this far, and He's going to bring the right actors in. I've had it in my mind to bring Aaron in originally, and so that was a go regardless, as long as she's able to make it from LA.
Right.
And then the rest of the actors, I know of one person in particular who's really interested. I actually gave them the script, which is something that normally I wouldn't do, and most filmmakers wouldn't give them a whole script. He's a roommate of a buddy of mine, and I trust my buddy, so
yeah.
But yeah, so he's running through some of the lines for the casting call this weekend. So I'm looking forward to talking with him. He's kind of got a one-up on everybody else right now for the main character, Sam Toll. Only because he personally contacted me ahead of time and asked me what I'm looking for in an actor and in this particular character. So we were able to discuss that a little bit, and he's already ahead of the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got to bring to the table. And then, of course, we're going to see a couple of other people as well. Hopefully we get a lot of people showing up this Saturday. The casting call is only an hour and a half. If we end up getting a lot of people, we may extend it.
Right.
But we'll have to wait to see what happens. So the two main characters, hopefully, they'll be set and ready to go. There is one person, maybe two, that are interested in a pastor role that I have in the film. It's just a small 4-line dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple people who are willing to travel up from out of state to come in and do that. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens and go from there.
All right. Well, the one question I do have to ask, because Kay had asked you it, and it's probably one that I would have asked regardless if I would have heard it or not, but what was your inspiration for the movie? I know it's been on your heart for a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, growing up with my family, we were
just you don't have to explain anymore.
That's it. So yeah, growing up with my sisters, and then my parents who were always watching the X-Files. We would sit down as a family every week and watch the X-Files, and that had me interested right away in aliens and just what type of life is out beyond our planet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was studying that kind of stuff back then as a little kid. And as time went on, there were a few points where I kind of drifted away and didn't care so much. But once we got into the paranormal aspect of everything, got into the paranormal community with the radio.
Yeah.
Obviously, you and I have had numerous people on about aliens.
Yep.
Jesse Marcel Jr. being one of them, which
Yep.
is a huge guest to have on.
Yep.
And then, of course, when I was doing Forgotten Truth Radio, I had on a guy named David Rufino, and he wrote a book called Unholy Communion. And now with his book, he, as you know, and maybe some of the listeners know if they've heard that episode from Paratruth Radio, he wrote this book based on numerous cases that he had worked on in which people believed or claimed to either have been abducted by aliens or were presently being abducted by aliens on a nightly or weekly basis. And he spent a lot of time just talking with them and getting to understand them, and just going through the whole psychiatric evaluation of these people. And eventually he would start sharing the gospel of Christ with them. And numerous times there were just times in which people would turn to Christ, and accept him as Lord and Savior. And when they call on him, all of these abductions or so-called abductions would completely cease because they called on the power of God. And it started bringing up something interesting to me. I started questioning, what is it that doesn't live on Earth, tends to afflict people or oppress them in the middle of the night, and yet has to obey the power of God?
Right.
Because let's face it, if a human is walking around, afflicting people, and you say, in the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to stop, are they going to stop?
No.
Probably not.
Depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. So, I guess I just started wondering, what could this be? And of course, there were a number of different possibilities, and so after all the research, I found some very interesting similarities between these alien beings or creatures and these spiritual entities. I think people are going to be really interested in seeing this film, whether they're science fiction fans or horror fans, or if they're Christians, and then they're interested in seeing what the outcome is. So,
well, coming from a little bit different view than you, I actually, when I talked to David Rufino, it kind of made sense. Why would these creatures, first off, why would extraterrestrials come here and abduct us and do experiments on us when they can just look from afar if they have the technology that we believe they do?
Well, exactly.
And secondly, why would they run at the name of Jesus Christ if they, A, didn't know who Jesus Christ was because they are something else completely, or B, they have never been to our planet and just all of a sudden started abducting us. So I after talking to David Rufino, I'm like, you know what? The abductions part of it makes sense to me, how it could be something completely different than extraterrestrials, but I still believe that there are aliens out there, just because it would be very close-minded to think that we were the only planet to have life here, and as you said, limiting God's power to create something other than just the human race limits his power. So,
right.
So doing this movie, do you feel getting this message out there will impact somebody? And if it does, how do you want it to impact them? Do you want it just to be a scary movie? Do you want it to compel them to come to God? What's your motive here?
Well, ultimately, if it shows them the truth and leads them to Christ, obviously that's probably the biggest thing. Now, if it at least gets people to start questioning what these stories are telling us in regards to alien abductions, and they start questioning, what is the truth? What is real? What is a physical being? What is a spiritual being? And what is the difference between the two when it comes to an extraterrestrial type of life? Mm-hmm. I think that in and of itself would be a great thing to learn, to have, for just one person to be like, this seems little out there, but at the same time, it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
I want to know more, and then of course start contacting people and asking, hopefully somewhere outside just the paranormal community, and going to like the church and of course talking to them and just getting information wherever they can. And I would hope that God would be leading that, and eventually lead them to Christ. But one thing for sure is that this film is not just meant to be a scary movie. It's meant to really engage the imagination of the viewer. A lot of the effects, are not. Here's the big thing: a lot of Hollywood movies show you way too much.
Right.
When there's a monster under the bed, they show it within the first 20 minutes, of the film, and then that's it. You know what the creature looks like, and you're looking forward to every time it appears, and so on and so forth. With this film, you're barely going to see anything. I mean, there's really nothing to see until the very end, where you may catch a glimpse of something. A lot of it is just using the viewer's imagination to create the creatures themselves, whatever that creature might be.
Right. And that's one thing I agreed with you and Kay when you did the show with Kay, is that Hollywood has gotten so far away from anything but CGI. Like there is no, what the heck's going on? What is this thing that's after them? It's led people to, as you guys were saying, maybe desensitize us a little bit of maybe, let's not let them use their imagination. Let's just give them what they want.
Right.
Sort of a thing.
Right.
And when we stop using our imagination is when we start becoming drones. I feel, because if you can't imagine the picture in your mind, how are you supposed to be surprised or not surprised when it comes on the screen?
Right.
So, I think Hollywood's gotten away from that. I mean, they still have their jump scares, sort of, but I think it's a little bit better when you don't know what it is that you're looking for.
Right.
So, we've talked a lot about the motivation, what you're hoping to accomplish as far as the movie portraying to somebody. Going into the festival circuit, where are you thinking you're going to go from there? Do you think that maybe at some point The Revealed will become a full-length film, or are you going to keep that a short film and just work on other full-length films?
I've talked to some of my professors about that at school, and I've thought about it off and on a lot over the past several months, and especially particularly the past 6 months, in which I've been writing and rewriting this script mostly. And right now it's up in the air. It very well could be something that if a production company or a producer came to me and asked, like, hey, we want the rights to this film, or we'd like to make this film into a feature, I'm completely open to it, because there is a lot of information that I left out in this story, and I think there's a lot of small gaps that could be filled in with a lot of stuff. Things that will really help shape the characters as they move through the environment that they're in and interact with one another and interact with other people. And unfortunately, with a short film, you just can't quite do it the same.
Right.
I mean, you can get a similar effect, but it's a little harder to do it, and it takes a lot more to get it through there. But I definitely am open to writing it as a feature film if someone were to come to me about that. Otherwise, I think in regards to the film circuit, it's perfectly great just as it is. It really gets the message out there. It's a story that has a beginning, middle, and end. There's not much, people don't need to know that much, honestly, when it comes to some of these characters.
Right.
And the main points are there, the main plot points. You see how things start getting a little crazy. You see how it affects Abby, as time goes on. So it's there. There's just a couple of things that could probably be added if, indeed, someone wanted to turn it into a feature. But in regards to just doing the film circuit, like the plan is it's going to start with the Liberty Film Festival, which is going to be in fall of 2016, September 2016.
Oh, okay.
So it'll start there, and then we'll work our way, probably jump straight to the Cleveland Film Festival. I'll show it there if I'm accepted there. That's probably the big one. One of the bigger ones that I really want to, participate in. The Cleveland International Film Festival is definitely one of the larger film festivals out there. Of course, it's not the biggest,
right?
But it does have its.
I was going to say it's probably a stepping stone for you if you at least get accepted. Yeah.
Oh yeah, a huge stepping stone, and that's more than enough. Just even a small stepping stone, something to get you somewhere.
Well, one thing I've wanted to ask you for a while, and it usually kind of just comes out of my mind and I forget about it, is what is the purpose of film festivals? Is it just to get the name out there? Is it for producers to see these films and say, hey, we would like to make it a full length? What is the festival circuit for?
It's all of the above, really. You look at like award shows, for let's just say the Oscars, for example. Where they're awarding actors and filmmakers and so on and so forth. It's the same thing for independent filmmakers who do short films, and that's what the festivals are for. They run this circuit and they award people who've done a really great job in producing it, in directing it, and writing it, in particular, and just the full artistic outcome of the film. So when a movie is on the film festival circuit, people are mostly just checking to see, like, how does this film look artistically? How does it sound? How does it feel? Does the audience like it? Do they not like it? And how does it move us, as the viewers? And the film that really starts moving people, the film that really starts getting critics talking and getting people talking, that's the film that's going to really start piquing the interest. And there's always producers at these film festivals. There's always production companies there, and those companies and those producers, they're looking for the next big thing, if you will. They're looking to find the next filmmaker who could change history, or, and I've said this in the past, who are looking for someone who can just make them money, right? Because film is a business first and foremost, unfortunately,
right?
But so that's what the film festivals are for. It's for all the above. It awards the people who worked hard at it. It awards their artistic skill and their ability and their creativity and what they've done with it. But it also opens the opportunity for people to get hired, as directors, as producers, as writers. Mm-hmm. So. All right, folks, you are listening to Paratruth Radio. We will be right back, but first, Justin's Paranormal Headlines.
And now, Paratruth Radio's Paranormal Headlines.
Hey, Parafans. Justin here with your Paranormal Headlines. These headlines are from unexplainedmysteries.com. Ghostly figure photographed at Newark Castle. A visitor to the ruins of a Scottish castle managed to capture the image of a mysterious figure. Paranormal enthusiast Lenny Lowe had been visiting the ruins of Newark Castle with his partner Ruth Sinclair Case when he spotted something unusual in one of his photographs. The unexplained extra can be seen facing away from the camera on the far right of the image. One of the most interesting things about the photo is that the doorway that the figure appears to be entering, which is now fenced off, was once the castle's storeroom, with the kitchen being next door. It looks like a woman with her sleeves rolled up in a busy-like manner, said Lowe. Being 100 yards from the sea, it's more likely to be a fisherman's wife, one who spent her time gutting the fish. Newark Castle itself dates back to the 13th century and was rebuilt several times. The current ruins are what's left of what was constructed under the ownership of David Leslie in the 17th century and the Sandilands family who owned the estate during the 15th century. These days, the ruined stonework is considered to be one of Scotland's most haunted attractions. Swarms of flying ants descend on the UK. Large numbers of flying ants have been invading parts of the British Isles due to the warmer weather. Ants can be enough of a problem when they are limited to crawling on the ground, but when tens of thousands of them take to the air, they can collectively pose a huge nuisance. Internet users in England and Wales have been hitting social media over the last few days to report large numbers of the airborne pests swarming pavements and crawling into the people's homes. Experts believe that the recent spell of warm and dry weather is to blame for the invasion. Despite the excessive ant population, wildlife authorities have asked people to avoid killing them because they can actually help out local plant life by feasting on garden pests. For those who have had to call in exterminators to remove swarms of the insects from their own homes, however, their benefit to the local ecosystem is unlikely to be much of a consolation. And this has been Justin with your Paranormal Headlines.
This was a segment of Paratruth Radio's Paranormal Headlines.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to Paratruth Radio. My name is... Sometimes you just cut me off when I'm doing this, man.
Night Suckers, you told me numerous times. Stop cutting me off. Stop cutting.
I know. My name is Eric.
I'm Justin.
And we are having a conversation, an interview of me about my film, The Revealed.
Absolutely.
And I guess, Justin, since Justin's really the host here, so Justin, are we continuing on?
So to speak, yes, absolutely, Eric.
Oh, well, then what do we have for them, Johnny?
All right, so we're getting close to the end here. So I wanted to actually give you a chance to get the Revealed Indiegogo campaign out there again, the Facebook, all that great stuff, so they can connect with you. And, of course, they can connect with us on our website as well and get all that information. But go ahead and get all that out there.
So for the Indiegogo, I am still trying to raise some money for this film. I'm trying to raise a grand total of about $2,500. So far, we currently raised about $1,300, but we do need $2,500 in order to make this film as successful as I believe it can be. The money goes towards hair and makeup, costumes. It goes towards food, props, VFX, so all kinds of different things. Your money, no matter how much you give, whether it's a single dollar, $20, $50, $100, $200, it's all going to go towards the film, except for, to be honest, Indiegogo does take 5% of the total amount that we raise, because, of course, Indiegogo has to make money somehow. But other than that 5%, which doesn't go towards me, it goes towards the company, Indiegogo. The rest of the money will go directly to the film itself. So your money will be put completely into the creative aspect of this movie. And you can check out The Revealed on Indiegogo. I have a video there. I have a full synopsis of the film, as well as a couple of reasons why you could or should give even and help us out. There are a number of perks available to you, such as special thanks on social media. There's a refrigerator magnet you can get, a signed poster, signed copy of the DVD when it's ready. You can even get your name in the credits as an executive producer of the film, which is really big, especially since there are huge plans of getting this film on IMDb, which can't be done until after it's fully produced and has been placed out on the film circuit, or the festival circuit, I'm sorry. So you can find this at igg.me/@The Revealed Movie, or you could just go to indiegogo.com/projects/The-Revealed. Again, that's indiegogo.com/projects/The-Revealed. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Revealed Movie. And, of course, you can also find us at paratruthradio.com. Just click on the Creative Works tab at the top of the page, and you'll be sent straight to the Revealed's little page that they have. And you will find us right there. We had a full synopsis, and of course, there's a little link at the bottom, a little button. You just click on it, and it'll take you straight to the Indiegogo page as well. So those are the 3 places that you can find us. Feel free to hit us up on Facebook, like us, share us. If you go to the Indiegogo, if you're willing to donate some money, that'd be great. If you can't, please share it with your friends. Just pass on the news, spread it to everybody that you know. Just get our name out there.
All right, so a couple of quick announcements we have, since Eric actually just made his big announcement for the Indiegogo campaign. We, as we said at the beginning of the show, we are on iHeartRadio now, which is a huge accomplishment for us. We're super excited about it. So check us out there, and you can listen on their website as well as the apps. And in roughly 2 weeks, Paratruth Radio will be at Scarefest 2015. Dun, dun, dun. It's been, as we said last episode, several years since we've been back, 6 to be precise. And I'm kind of looking forward to a lot of the people there. How about you?
I really am, dude. I'm really looking forward to it. And, you know, I bought the tickets back in May. I bought them back in May, I think.
We both did, I think.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can't believe we're only 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
And now I have to have a conversation with my professor because he has a class that day. And, well, unfortunately, this class has been changed. So we're only having class once every other week, which means if you skip a class, you miss out on a lot. You miss quizzes that are taken every week and so on and so forth. So I got to talk to him. Be like, yo. You know, I can't miss out. But we'll see. I'm going to be out there regardless, obviously.
Right.
But
well, it would be a huge waste of money on your part.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. I'm not going to miss that.
Right.
I'll take my chances. I'll get the school done. But this is kind of a funny story real quick. The other day, Savannah and I were driving back from North Carolina, and she started singing a song that I mean I've heard off and on, but it's just weird, like how it worked out. Because 8 years ago, when you and I, Justin, went to the first conference that we'd ever gone to, we used to listen to a little band. It wasn't the nicest of bands, okay? Back then, it was a rough band. You probably know what I'm talking about. But they're called 303.
Oh, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. And so for some reason, I don't know. We were at first we were in North Carolina, and she just kind of little bit of the tune. Don't know where it came from. She doesn't know where it came from. She just started singing it. And then on the way home driving, we started singing it again, just out of nowhere. And I'm like, whoa, it's so weird that the last time that I actually sung this song was right before we went to Scarefest. And now here we are 8 years later, right before going to Scarefest, and the song pops back up again. Random, funny story. You can add that to the random fact of the day. But
well, maybe it's just God saying, hey, you're on the right track, and I appreciate you going to Scarefest, even though you do follow my word, and maybe it's not the best place to be going, but you are bringing it to Scarefest. So maybe it was just him saying, hey, I know what's going on, and I'm proud of you.
But then after that, he's saying, don't you dare listen to those songs.
Right.
No. Guy gets the newspaper out and rolls it up. Starts whacking me on the face.
On the nose.
Bad, Eric. No. I'm sorry.
They were good at the time.
I'm scared. Savannah was sleeping this whole time, and I look back, and she's staring at me with a smirk. I'm like, oh, no.
She's going to get the newspaper out.
She's getting the newspaper out.
So, yeah, guys, we are looking forward to this. It's been a long time coming. Is there any guests that you're specifically looking forward to, or?
Yes, Josh Gates.
I kind of figured.
Yeah, definitely. For those of you who don't know who Josh Gates is, he hosted Destination Truth for quite a while, and now he hosts another TV show. I'm not sure what it is, though, offhand.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Yeah, but Destination Truth was one of my favorite shows, so many years ago. And so I'm really looking forward to meeting him. You?
Well, him and actually the actor who played Captain Spaulding in House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of him just because of the movies, and also the woman that played Pepper in American Horror Story. She's supposed to be there, and both me and Shelley are looking forward to meeting her because we were a huge fan of that character.
Yeah.
So definitely both of those, plus Josh Gates, just because he's been in the game probably as long, if not longer, than we have. So. Oh
yeah. Well, and he's just so real when it comes to reality TV. If you consider some of his stuff reality TV,
right?
I mean, when it's like we talked about this a few weeks ago, but some of the ghost hunting shows out there, they're just so. It's like, you see, it seems like they find something every single week, like there's just ghosts everywhere, which, of course, I mean, obviously, demons are everywhere.
Actually, when we were talking to Talk Supernatural, which, if you guys missed that episode, they did have a lot of sound issues going on where you couldn't hear us and all that stuff. They are working on it. We do appreciate Talk Supernatural having us on and working those bugs out. We are going to be on again in October, if not Eric, at least myself, because I know he's going to be super busy with all of the different movies going on.
I plan on being there. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what's going on.
But like you're saying, all of them are as fake as
they all just seem so fake because they just constantly catch stuff. But when Josh Gates is out there, if he doesn't find something, he says, "Oh, we didn't find anything." And there's like sometimes 3-4 episodes in a row where they just don't find anything. But he makes some very interesting TV. The way he portrays the information, the way he talks, and everything that's just presented to us as facts or the result of research. It's just really fun and interesting. And that's the type of show where you can really get hooked. And even though something they're looking for isn't real, like. Or people don't strike me down, but say Bigfoot, for those of you Bigfoot fans. If Bigfoot isn't real, he's not.
Like Bill Hall was saying last week, it used to be the UFO guys are like, stay away from the paranormal people, they're crazy. And the paranormal people are like, okay, stay away from the Bigfoot people, they're nuts. So,
yeah.
I mean, they've finally all come together a little bit, and it's kind of a cooperation thing nowadays compared to back then. But I'm still not convinced, just as you were not convinced that Bigfoot is out there. Yeah. So and I think that's one thing I liked about Josh is he kept it real.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So all right, folks, that is, I believe, all we have for today. Did you have anything else?
Nope, nothing else.
Okay, so we are going to get out of here. Like I said, a lot of great stuff coming up. Next week, we will be talking about human perception of time versus God's perception of time, or spirits, because there are angels, demons, and in my particular case, I believe human spirits roaming the earth. In Eric's case, it's just the angels and the demons, or actually, probably just the demons. Angels are out there, but they're not roaming the earth. So, that's going to be an interesting topic. It's one that's kind of been on my mind lately. So definitely look forward to that. As I said, week after that, we are at Scarefest, so stay tuned for that. We will be doing a live show Friday, September 11th. Of course, you can always listen to the archive, but if you do listen live and you're there, check us out. If you're not there, I do understand, and just listen to the archive or the live show. So on that note, that is all we got for you this week. We will be back same time, same channel next week. My name's Justin.
And I'm Eric. Peace. If you enjoyed this episode of Paratruth Radio and you would like to listen to it again, or are interested in listening to any of our past episodes, then you can listen to them on HD at our website, paratruthradio.com.
And you can also find us at Stitcher, Blueberry, TuneIn, iTunes, Spreaker, and YouTube.
And of course, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for brand new updates of our show every day.